The Lord be with you. I'm Deacon Keith Fournier, and our first reading is from the book of Genesis. Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. When he had reached a certain place, he stopped there for the night, since the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of that place, he made it his pillow and lay down where he was. He had a dream. There was a ladder planted on the ground with its top reaching to heaven, and God's angels were going up and down on it. And there was Yahweh standing beside him and saying, I, Yahweh, am the God of Abraham your father and the God of Isaac. The ground on which you are lying I shall give to you and your descendants. Your descendants will be as plentiful as the dust on the ground. You will spread out to west and east, to north and south, and all clans on earth will bless themselves by you and your descendants. Be sure, I am with you. I shall keep you safe wherever you go and bring you back to this country, for I shall never desert you until I have done what I have promised you. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, Truly, Yahweh is in this place, and I did not know. He was afraid and said, How awe-inspiring this place is. This is nothing less than the abode of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Early next morning, Jacob took the stone he had used for his pillow and set it up as a pillar, pouring oil over the top of it. He named the place Bethel. But before that, the town had been called Luz. Jacob made this vow. If God remains with me and keeps me safe on this journey I am making, if he gives me food to eat and clothes to wear, and if I come home safe to my father's home, then Yahweh shall be my God. This stone I have set up as a pillar is to be a house of God, and I shall faithfully pay you a 10th part of everything you give me. And our responsorial psalm from Psalm 91. You who live in the secret place of Elion, spend your nights in the shelter of Shaddai, saying to Yahweh, my refuge, my fortress, my God in whom I trust. He rescues you from the snare of the fowler set on your destruction. He covers you with his pinions. You find shelter under his wings, and his constancy is shield and protection. Since he clings to me, I rescue him. I raise him high, since he acknowledges my name. He calls to me, and I answer him. In distress, I am at his side. I rescue him and bring him honor. And a reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. When Jesus was speaking to them, suddenly one of the officials came up who bowed low in front of him and said, My daughter has just died, but come, lay your hand on her and her life will be saved. Jesus rose and with his disciples followed him. Then suddenly from behind him came a woman who had been suffering from a hemorrhage for 12 years. And she touched the fringe of his cloak, for she was thinking, if only I can touch his cloak, I shall be saved. Jesus turned round and saw her, and he said to her, Courage, my daughter, your faith has saved you. And from that moment, the woman was saved. When Jesus reached the official's house and saw the flute players, with the crowd making a commotion, he said, Get out of here. The little girl is not dead. She is asleep. And they ridiculed him. But when the people had been turned out, he went inside and took her by the hand. And she stood up. And the news of this spread all round the countryside. The Gospel of the Lord.